Hey everybody, I'm Mike, and I'm going to be talking crypto. This is my first video, so to get started, I'm going to talk about what got me interested in cryptocurrency and things that I've seen throughout my life that made me believe that cryptocurrency is going to be something good, something big that we're going to be using a lot of in the future. To start off, talk about when I was younger in video games and just watching the progression of the technology behind video games from when I was a young kid and till now. You know, when I was a kid, the Atari 2600 was the latest and greatest. And, a couple years later after that, Nintendo came out. They had Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. And now you've got, PlayStations and Xboxes to where you don't even need a cartridge or a CD to even play the games. You just online, you can download the games and play them. You ain't even got to go to the store. So I watched the progression of that technology. And then as I got a little older, into my teenage years, that was when the internet was coming out. And it started off with dial-up internet and America Online, and you had to sit there and wait for the phone and listen to all those tones and hope that you got online at the best speed possible, or at least a good speed, so you didn't have to wait 10 minutes for a picture to download. And a few short years later, everybody's computer was always connected to the internet. You could stream videos. So I watched that progression in technology. And then when I became an adult, I joined the Navy. And the first ship that I was on, I guess the only ship that I was on, was a brand new ship. It was only a couple years old when I got there. So obviously it had the latest and greatest in naval technology on it. Well, about a month after I got there, we went on a 6-month deployment, came back from that 6-month deployment, and we went into an overhaul period, where they took these systems that were the latest and greatest off and put newer systems on. So I was on a brand new ship that had the best of the best. And after a couple of years, that wasn't even the best anymore, and they upgraded it from there. And then after I got out of the Navy, I got into construction, and I was doing low voltage wiring and communications, and spent about 14 years, I guess now, doing that and watching that technology progress. It started off, when I started out, Cat 5e was the thing, and then it went up to Cat 6, so you get faster transmission speeds, data moving at a faster rate, and a couple of projects that I worked on were for some major banks upgrading their cabling and whatnot so that their transactions and their speed could be faster. So with all of that, I realized that the technology and advancement is very important. It's something that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, and we're in a world where everything is about speed. It doesn't matter whether it's, it used to take a couple of days for a letter to get to whoever you were sending it to. Now you type it up on the computer, you hit send, bam, they've got it. Just like that. And even with phones, when I was a kid, if you weren't at home when somebody called you, you had no idea anybody called you. Then came caller ID and answering machines, so you'd know that somebody called you, and if they left a message, you'd know what they wanted to talk to you about. And now, today, we've got phones attached to our hip that have caller ID, messaging, and even internet and live stream straight from their phones. So, in watching all of this technology advance, and knowing about cryptocurrency, I realized that this is something that's gonna be big in the future. You know, I first heard about cryptocurrency listening to a radio show, and it was back in the early days of Bitcoin. And around that time, I was learning about how the banking system worked and how it was created and how the Federal Reserve and central banks were created, and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and you know, that whole thing. And if you don't know about that, look into it. There's a couple of good videos on YouTube. There's one that's about 30 minutes long. It's a cartoon. It's called I can't remember the name. They'll come to me in a couple minutes, I'm sure. The American Dream, that's it. That's the name of the video. This is a really good video, about 30 minutes long. I definitely recommend taking a look at it. But anyway, when I first heard about this Bitcoin, I thought it was a great idea, but I didn't think it was going to be anything that would ever progress from in early stages. And then last year, I was at work in 2017, I guess November, December time frame. A buddy of mine was talking about Bitcoin, and then he started talking about Litecoin and Coinbase. So I went home and looked into it, and I saw that there was a bunch of these coins out there. I think over 1,000, 1,600, something like that. A ton of coins. And at that point I realized there was no stopping this technology, this progression. It wasn't going away. And that's basically what got me started on it. I was interested in it the first time I'd heard about Bitcoin, but I wasn't confident in it. But once I found out that there was multiple different coins and tokens, I realized it was something that was gonna be a part of our lives in the future. And so that's my history of what got me started and why I believe that this technology is what's going to be used in the future. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and of course subscribe, and thanks for watching.